Hard to believe. Well, the crowd stood for a second. 1 cent. And you could see Mr. Ferguson in there. He's got this scared look. Had to happen. A brief instant, and then this great tidal wave of humanity rolling over and over, end over end. There were 17 killed in that second wave. And of course the word is getting out all the way down to Frankfort, Kentucky now, and into Tennessee. They're arriving with buckets to carry them out. And they start serving the 1 cent ice cream cones. The people are throwing pennies down. 1 cent ice cream cone, 1 cent. Bang, 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 like that. And now it is 2 o'clock in the morning, and this fantastic battle has been going on for 3 hours. Ice cream cones, double dipped, 1 penny. But Mr. Ferguson was a man who knew that when your time comes, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. Courage is a matter of knowing when your time comes and then executing. The crowd had swelled. In fact, there were so many people in northern Indiana that the state was tilting downward. It was beginning to ship water up near Whiting. The lake was coming in. There I am, a little kid, in the middle of all this. We haven't even gotten an ice cream cone yet. We just kept going back and forth. Mr. Ferguson looked out at the crowd and he says, "All right, 1 cent ice cream. How many of you people out there think you're getting a bargain? Huh? You ain't seen nothing." Takes his brush, mixes it up. Mr. Ferguson was a man of great drama. There was a sign that said ice cream cones, 3 cents. Reaches down, takes a wet cloth, takes the 3 cents off. Ice cream cones. How do you like that, you bastard? Ice cream cones, free. I don't have to tell you, incidentally, on that moment was the first time that the seismic observation station, the earthquake reading station at Notre Dame University, 80 miles to the south, registered a 9 on the Richter scale. The earth trembled. The crowd roared over. Mr. Ferguson's window just went in. And he and his kids, the whole crowd, they take the cans, they put them out like this, and he says, "Make your own. They're free, free. If I'm going to die, I'm going to do it great." They're digging it up. Well, my old man knew, like Mr. Ferguson, his time had come. He put his head down. It's the first time I ever saw my old man in action. Meaner than a cob. Put his head down and he bored in. People parting like the waves, screaming. He came back out with 37 ice cream cones. Handmade. Each double dip, $1.5 quarts per dip. He had ice cream cones that weighed 7-10 pounds. What it looked like was a giant ball of ice cream with little fur of cones on the bottom. Looked like you could walk around and milk them, you know. Let's hear it. Come on. We're getting warmed up. Well, I want to tell you, it was fantastic. It was 2 in the morning, and you could hear sirens wailing in the distance. The police are arriving. You could see shoes on the street. A broken crutch. A wheelchair that had caught flame. All that going back and forth the streets, you know. Burned out the bearings. You saw a foot sticking out of the sewer. But it was happy. The police are coming. And then everybody noticed at once Borden's had turned out the lights. They were through. Mr. Ferguson had won. The town was laid waste for blocks. Garages had collapsed. We finally got home at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was one of the happiest evenings of our life. Little did I suspect that what I was seeing was the human locust at work. And there is one in all of us. There is not one of you that would pass up a free $10 bill laying on the street. If it had 2,000 bolts in it. Well, that became known in northern Indiana as the Great Ice Cream War. The Great Ice Cream Riot. And the following winter, guys would come into the A&P and they'd talk about it. And then the next year they talked about it again. And like all great human events, it passed into legend. And then people began to doubt that it happened. No one would believe they had ice cream cones free. 1 cent. Thousands of people came. But I was there. I saw it. And so last summer, I went back to my hometown, as I often do. My mother still lives out there. And there's the igloo. Still there. I went into the igloo. Just because, you know, it's where I went when I was a kid. The same stools, the counter, those chromium boxes with the napkins, the ones we used to take out and stick in the glasses and set on fire. Oh yes, we had many trickies. Oh, terrible stuff. I squatted down. Here's this guy serving the ice cream back there. He is now the current Mr. Ferguson. A guy I went to school with now owns the joint. Doesn't even know me. I come in, I sit down. He's walking around back there. He's got this little hat like the igloo. Looks like a Korean sergeant. The kids are back there making the cones. He comes over and says, "What do you have, bud?" I looked up at him and I said, "I'll tell you what I'll have. I think I'll have one of them 3-cent cones." He looked at me. He says, "My God, you were there. You were there at the ice cream war." I said, "Yep." Somehow I felt like I was at Bull Run. I was at the Battle of Little Round Top. I saw the mini balls go whipping up the hill. I said, "Yes, I was there." And he says, "God," he says, "you know, nobody in this town even believes that it ever happened." I said, "Well, I was there." And he says, "God, so was I. I was working that night." He says, "You remember how old Ferguson used the whitewash? What style?" And I said, yeah, I sure do. And he says, he goes back, makes me this giant double dip cone, great big one, like the kind my old man made. He said, here, anybody who went through the war, it's on the house. I mean, that's a true story, and that's what happens in the heat of summer.